You'll all join me in giving a warm welcome to this year's Chamber President, Ms. Brenda Olmos.
Well, hello everyone. How's everyone doing this afternoon? Are you guys ready for some dessert first before the salads? I noticed that was happening. Anyways, I wanted to welcome everybody to our 2014 State of the City address this afternoon. But at this time, I would like to actually recognize our sponsor for this event, which is Paramount Petroleum. Thank you. And what I also wanted to bring to our attention is actually the sponsor gift which each of you have at your tables, which is this beautiful set of rolling dice. Now, I'm not sure if the message is we need to go to Vegas or I need to play something, but just to let you know, we all know that actually making it through the economic crisis was certainly a roll of the dice, and this gift certainly is appropriate. What I'd also like to recognize actually are the beautiful centerpieces. The sponsor of our beautiful centerpieces was actually the gas company. And our representative for the gas company is Krista Phipps. She's the public affairs manager. Is she here today? Krista, thank you so much from the gas company. We appreciate that. Okay, I will now begin to make some introductions, and I ask that in the interest of time, you hold your applause until all the introductions have been made. So please stand, give a wave when I call your name so everyone can see who you are. From Compton College CEO, we have Keith Curry. Hello, Keith. From Los Angeles County Sheriff Department, Lieutenant David Honor. Okay, we're going to hold the applause till we call everybody. Thanks, you guys. All right. From the City of Paramount, Mayor Jean Daniels, Vice Mayor Diane Martinez, Councilmember Daryl Hoffmeyer, Councilmember and Chamber Board Member Dr. Tom Hansen, Councilmember and Executive Director of the Chamber Peggy Lemons, City Manager Linda Benedetti-Leal, Assistant City Manager John Moreno, and City Attorney John Kavanaugh. Moving on, for the Paramount Unified School District, we have Board President Sonia Cuellar, Vice President Alicia Anderson, Board Members Linda Garcia, Board Member Vivian Hansen, Board Member Tony Pena, and Superintendent Herman Mendez. Moving on, from the Chamber, we have our Senior Vice President John Tanklage of Marcon Vinegar, Vice President Dr. Max Martinez, Treasurer Paul Dennis, Weber Metals, Past President Leonard Crespo, Total Western. Also with us today are our directors, Ben Berg of Transcon Telecommunications, Gary Johnson, Ace Clearwater Enterprises, Bill Kapikoff, CalMet Services, Larry Valeriano, California Screw Products, and Bill Winters, Paramount Petroleum. And finally, our hardworking ambassadors, Ambassador Chair Karen Sonnenberg of Total Western, Christopher Hicks, New York Life Insurance, Grace Padilla of Marcon Vinegar, Deborah Jameson of Lifegate Foursquare Church, Anina Brown, Paramount Petroleum, and Joseph Snyder of Chase Bank. And also joining us is from the Lakewood Station, Captain Lindenham. He's back. There you go. Hi, Captain. Okay, so now we will have the invocation by Pastor Larry Jameson of Lifegate Foursquare Church. Pastor?
You folks never clap for all the...
Oh, that's right. Round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. That was a good one.
You know, pastors, they don't try to miss too many tricks anyway. Oh, it's great to be here, isn't it? Let's join together in prayer over our meal and just our fellowship together. Heavenly Father, we thank you today for your goodness. You have helped us so much in this city. You have been a blessing to all of us, and we pray your blessing over the businesses that are here, over all of our civil workers, our staff, everyone who touches this city in some way. We pray your blessing over the churches, over all of those who would bring any kind of touch to this place. It has become better and better every day. And we're so excited to hear the things today, all the reports that are going to be given. We ask your continued blessing over us for this food that's been prepared for us. May we enjoy our time together while we eat and while we fellowship and get to know one another even better. We ask you to grace us with your presence in Christ's name. Amen.
We co-hosted 10 ribbon cutting ceremonies for our members. And this year, we also started a Facebook page to promote our members and share information. So by the way, if you haven't logged on and you haven't liked us yet, Peggy will know. But actually, you'll see some great event photos, including today's, and have one more tool for keeping up with what's happening in Paramount. We held our annual fundraisers this year, including the Fiesta, in which we had live entertainment, and of course, our golf classic. We put on a job fair and recognized community leaders at the annual installation and awards luncheon. We also partnered with the city to promote Purchase It in Paramount program by distributing posters and raising community awareness about the importance of spending money here at home in Paramount. In addition to all of that, we produced the 2013 Paramount Poster, a really fun collectible and another way to promote businesses. Last but not least, we completed the 2014 Paramount Chamber Directory. Isn't this a beautiful book? Have you guys taken a look? It's amazing. Which you all have a copy at your table. And it goes without saying, we have a great chamber doing great things. But it needs to be said that without your support, none of this would be possible. So on behalf of the board, the ambassadors, and the chamber staff, we thank you. So at this time, I would like to introduce our first presenter, which is Superintendent Herman Mendez.
Well, good evening or afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here. Thank you, President Olmos and the Chamber of Commerce and Paramount Petroleum for sponsoring this great event. My pleasure to be here and share about Paramount Unified, our local public education agency. To begin with, I want to let you know, I'm almost fearful about getting in front of people, especially after a meal. Years ago, I was in a band, if you can imagine. I had hair back then. But we used to do many corporate parties, and we were at the Bonaventure this one particular evening. And as tradition was, they would feed the band before the performance, before the dance. This happened to be a dance. So we sat down like we did now, and we had a nice meal and got to the stage to begin the dance music, and the music began very softly, da 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 da. We had this beautifully, very attractive singer in this great evening gown, and she walks up to the mic and burp. So if I happen to burp, there's a precedent that already been set. But in any case, again, it's an opportunity for us to share all the great things happening in Paramount Unified. So let's see if the technology cooperates with me, okay? One of the biggest changes that our district has undergone is the appointment of yours truly as the superintendent. An honor and a privilege that I thank the Board of Education for bestowing upon me. As I said about leading the district, I felt that it was critical that I learn as much as possible. A friend of mine once advised me that before you take down a fence, find out why it was put up in the first place. So with that sage advice, I began my 100-day journey as part of my 100-day entry plan of Look, Listen, and Learn. So I invite you to walk with me so that vicariously you'll learn a bit about the district as I did as well. So there I am in green, maybe symbolically green, getting to get to know, and eventually I'll get to color. But our mission is to ensure learning and success for each student by providing a quality education. And I hope that as we go through, you'll see that in fact we are providing that outcome for our kids. Our schools, a little information, a little fast facts about the schools. We have 10 elementary schools, 4 middle schools. We have 1 K-8 model school, 2 high schools. There's really actually 1 big high school, the West Campus, which serves our 9th grade kids, and the senior campus, grades 12 through 10 to 12. Buena Vista, another continuation program. We also have some alternative programs to support our kids. We serve a primarily Latino population. Over 87% of our kids in community are Latino. Or sometimes I say Hispanic. Either way, it's interchangeable. We have about 35% of our kids that are learning English, and 95% of our students qualify for free and reduced lunch program. And we serve about almost 16,000 kids, so a good-sized district. Interesting enough for me is that we are the largest employer in the city. We serve just under 2,000 employees. We have an excellent standing in the financial community and operate a budget of about $131 million. We are proud to share that we have a positive budget certification with the Los Angeles County of Education, the agency that certifies our budget. And as Brenda said, districts have gone through some very difficult times over the last few years. So again, we're very pleased that again through sound fiscal management, the board and the district have continued to provide a stable setting for our community and our kids. Recognizing that we are a people business, I invested much of my time in my entry plan to talk to anybody and everybody, people in the district, community leaders, many of you of whom are here today. We also had meetings with our parents to talk to them about what their desires were, what the strengths of the district were, what were opportunities in which to advance, talking to our kids as well, visiting schools. So all those things provided me a good deal of information in addition to the more dry data that you typically see with facts and figures. But here's what I learned. And I'll share with you these 9 important things that I learned in talking to you folks and other people throughout the 100-day plan. Primarily and first and foremost is a very strong sense of pride in Paramount, not only in the district but in the city itself. The Board of Education works very well together. Long history of collaboration and collegiality and working toward the benefit of the children. Big thing, very public, bond measure AA, great success. Music and the arts are important in the community. We see that reflected not only in the schools but also in the city artwork that you find in the buildings. The TAG program, for example, the Rotary supports that. We also have sports as an important element of our work to keep kids engaged in our community, keep them productive. College is important, we all know, but we also want to recognize the value of the trades. This is an important part of what we have in offering opportunities for our kids. Collaboration among all stakeholders is the strength of this community. Our schools are safe, important these days, certainly when we hear all the things happening across the nation over the last 15 or so years, beginning with Columbine. In general, everybody has the opinion, and I concur, the district is on the right track. It has shown great and steady improvement in academics over the last few years. My continuing work in getting to know the district validates that we are on the right track. As an example, high school graduation rates are up. Consider that last year in the 2012-13 school year, our graduating class was the largest class to date, not only in number of students, but also in the percentage of kids. We had over 1,000 graduates. That's a phenomenal. And by the way, feel free to apply as we go through these things. Those are good things. These are definitely things to be recognized. In our high school program, again, you see that we're having more kids take advantage of advanced placement courses, and we offer a very good range of courses. I echo the sentiments of the state superintendent who shares that. It's important to recognize that not only are more and more students feeling equipped to tackle these college-level courses, but that more and more of them are succeeding. Along with their schools and families, they are working hard to be ready for college, and I'm glad to see the numbers continue to climb, and I'm equally happy as well. The Academic Performance Index is something we're going to talk about in a second, but I want to show you some of the courses that our kids have the ability to take: calculus, chemistry, computer science, Spanish. Matter of fact, last year the board approved the Seal of Biliteracy, in which are students who bring that extra language to school. The Spanish, in this case, can acquire certification that goes on to their diploma as another acknowledgement of their skill set. But the Academic Performance Index, or API, as you've heard, the state set a target of 800. Our schools, right now, we have 7 schools that are 800 plus, as I call it, the 800 plus club. We have 700 club schools, and several of them are poised to get into that next level. This particular year, the state has suspended the API, so you will not see API scores represented because we're in a transition phase as we move into a new accountability system. Enrollment has been pretty steady for us over the last several years. You can see we're hovering right about 16,000 kids. Speaks to a number of things, one of which is stability, not only fiscally, but also just in the fact that, again, people aren't not leaving. There was a period of time where many districts were losing students to outlying areas like Moreno Valley, where there was construction going on, and that came to a halt, and as we see, we have a pretty stable population of students. Attendance, again, reflects that our kids want to be in school. They're not out doing other things. Good environment, good climate, good teachers working to build those relationships are important in having kids come to school. And you see we hover at about 96%, which is very high. You know, as an immigrant to this country, one of the things I value is the ability to of opportunity, and innovation is something that is part of the American way and part of the system. We have great examples of innovative practices in Paramount Unified. This is one example. We have a taxi service to transport our kids, and you're familiar with the traditional bus system. But here we have kids that are riding taxis, which is actually a great benefit because you figure on a bus, with many kids on the bus, a travel time that could be 10 minutes is now lengthened to 60 minutes, an hour. So right now, we've been able to reduce the travel time. Our kids are more comfortable traveling in air-conditioned taxis, and also safety because taxis have seat belts. School buses are not required to have seat belts. Here's another example of innovative practices. We see Chris Stam, our Director of Nutrition Services, proudly in front of one of the food trucks, and you might have seen these driving around the city. In case you wondered, they belong to the Paramount District. But we have a phenomenal program that really works on identifying student desires for meals so that they eat them and not throw them away. We have themes in our eating areas. If you've ever been to Paramount High School, they have the Pirate Cafe, Pirate Den. And if you walk in, it looks like you're on a pirate ship. It's pretty phenomenal. The floors are planks. The graphics on the walls give you the impression you're out in the ocean, along with Johnny Depp. But we also are phenomenal in providing cutting-edge programs. How many of you, raise your hand, recall the old food pyramid? A few of you recall that? Yeah, that's kind of old school. That's old school. Now we have a whole different way of delivering food and a different menu system that drives the work. As a consequence of that innovative approach, we are one of the few districts that has been doing that. And we find that many times people want to come visit us and see what we're doing so they can steal our ideas, which is okay. We're all about sharing. Technology is something we're moving ahead to continue to grow, and again, I would suspect, like you, that it's not likely to go away, right? But we find that we use it as a tool to keep our parents connected. A School Loop is a program that we've had at our high school, and this year we're adding Parent Portal. That'll expand parents' ability to stay connected with the schools. They can look at assignments, email their teachers, look at report cards. I have to tell you that if my mother had those back when I was a kid, I would have been in deep trouble. But they're great tools, and in talking to parents, they value these as communication tools for them. Safety and security, as I mentioned earlier, this is an important element of our work. And here we see an event that occurred this summer, which the county came down to Paramount High School and did an active shooter drill. So it was all to help us be better prepared in the event of such an event. Hopefully it never happens. But also with regards to safety in all our schools, here's an example at Paramount High where they use a technology system to scan the students' IDs that go into the student information system to keep student attendance tracked. Technology, again, once again, helping us. Core to our work with students is great teachers and the BITSA program, along with our ongoing professional development work to ensure that our teachers are the best in their professional knowledge and craft. With the support and the guidance of our educational service team, our teachers are adding to their professional toolkit new knowledge and skills around the Common Core state standards, a shift in teaching which we expect will further advance our students' preparation toward college and career readiness preparation upon graduation. Kids, that's why we're here, right? We have great kids in our district. This is but one example. These happen to be the student representatives that come to our board meetings and share with us all the great things happening in our schools. But, you know, when I talk to kids like this and others, and I've been able to visit the high school on a few occasions, they're hardworking, very sound of moral character, and have a strong sense for success. So again, I'm reassured that the youth is in good, is going to provide us a good retirement as we get on, as us older people get there. We have some bookend programs that continue to support our K-12 program, beginning with preschool. Also, the families and students of Herman Unified benefit from a continual educational experience ranging from preschool, our early education program. We've also added a transitional kindergarten program. So as an example, with the pre-K program, we have serviced approximately 500 kids. So that's 500 more kids coming into kindergarten that are better prepared as a consequence of that. Paramount High, the other end of that bookend program, provides our own students that are in the K-12 program, and also our adult community with another resource in furthering the educational aspirations. The adult program is a valuable part of our work in supporting high school graduation and contributes to raising the percent of seniors graduating. You may have heard about some of the academies at Paramount High School, in particular the Medical Academy or Therapeutic Services Pathway at Paramount. This is one of 3 career technical education pathways. The other 2 are focused on engineering and architecture and design and media. So those of you that are in the business community, we invite you to get involved with us and see how you can help us prepare kids for what might be your employees. So please contact us. We look forward to that opportunity. In the photo on the right, we see our students in the Therapeutic Services Pathway learning to properly handle a syringe as part of the art of drawing blood or phlebotomy. The program is a great vehicle that helps our students step into internships and ultimately jobs. We also know that we're moving into the Common Core, as I mentioned earlier, and technology is part of that. We have and are installing computer labs, new computer labs in our schools here. Students will now be taking online testing under the SBAC program, which is the Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortia. And we also have technology programs, software. As a matter of fact, this past January, we had a grant from the Winsong Foundation. Remember the commercial? Your Winsong stays on my mind. Okay, so you remember that. But the grant was for $290,000 to purchase the program called ST Math. It's this program designed to support kids in mathematics. Let me go back for a second. Oh, maybe I can't go back. Okay. I think the biggest success we've seen over the last few years is the bond measure AA, and we have a lot of you to thank for that. So I want you guys to give yourself a round of applause, because without the vision of the board and the community, this would not have happened. We're going to be finishing up the mini gymnasium at Hollydale by the spring. And certainly, as I mentioned before, the biggest success has been Paramount High School has been completely transformed, and in fact is the recipient of an award that will be presented to us in about a week or so up in Sacramento. Okay. Let's see. I'm not sure this device is cooperating here, but you may have heard about this, but we have our students that are Gates Millennium Scholars from last year. 5 of them. Javier Aldana, Crystal Estrada, Talia Hernandez, Lucio Lopez, and Fabiola Zuniga. Now, 5 in 1 year is phenomenal, but when you consider that over the last few years, we've had 17 Millennium Scholars, kids that will have an education all the way through a doctoral degree, completely paid for, full ride. So that's amazing and phenomenal. We also have continuing success with our schools and being recognized for the quality and exemplary programs they have. Last year, Zamboni was recognized for their high-quality program by way of the state and national program called Schools to Watch, taking center stage. And this year, we had 2 more, Alondra and Jackson Middle School. And they're going to be, they were recognized last night at the board meeting, but they're going to have another recognition on the 21st of February. They'll be going to Sacramento, and later in the school year over to Washington, D.C. to be further recognized. So again, another round of applause for their schools here, because they are doing phenomenal work. You have a board, I have to tell you, that I'm just completely enamored with. They are here and there for the right reason, children. They continue to advocate on our behalf, and recently we went to Sacramento to talk to the State Board of Education to advocate for local control and flexibility with regard to the new funding model called Local Controlled Funding Formula, and its accompanying accountability plan called the Local Controlled Accountability Plan, or LCAP. As you can see in the presentation I've given you thus far, the district is and has been making great inlets in providing quality programs for our kids, and I think you would agree that we are best poised to drive the decision-making, the direction of our schools versus somebody in Sacramento. So I hope you agree. But we had success because I think at the end of the day, I shouldn't say I think, but I know the State Board did approve maintaining the flexibility that was advocated for on behalf of all kids in California, not only by our board, but many of the boards throughout the state of California. So a little bit of our future work, things we will continue to do. We'll continue to work on providing safe environments for our kids, not only that they're safe, but also functional, clean, well-maintained, and places which are productive not only for the kids but also for our staff. We're going to work on developing a local control accountability plan. If you'd like to participate, please see me afterward. This is an opportunity to hear your voice as well as the voice of our staff, our parents, our community at large. We also are looking to continue to work toward our transition into the Common Core state standards. We're looking to enhance our technology, our library and media services to move us further into the 21st century. We're going to continue to, as I mentioned earlier, develop our college and career readiness preparation for our kids, implementing programs, systems, and practices to increase productivity and efficiency. So we're always looking to see how best we can function. And let's see, we go here. I don't know if you had a chance to read recently in the Register a story about Noah Sandoval. This is an inspiring young man, and I should be so lucky to have been at this point in my life at that age in high school, which I was not. I had other things happening. But I want to share with you that, again, as an educator, I draw my inspiration from our children. And this young man is such a person. Noah and I recently had a chance to meet, and he shared with me what inspires him and drives his work. And in particular for me, what inspired me to further my commitment is what he shared. He's a hard worker. He's willing to work hard. Oftentimes we hear that our kids these days are not hard workers, that they give up easily, and this is a young man that doesn't give up easily. He values his education. This is despite a very busy wrestling routine. He maintains the 3.5 GPA. He has a solid set of core values. He told me, work to be professional and do the right thing, he says. And when asked about what words of wisdom he would share with other students, he says, anything is possible if you set your mind to it. So isn't that inspiring? Somebody that has that level of insight and wisdom that I didn't get till, much, much later in life. But it's people like that that, again, continue to motivate us to further drive the work for our kids. So that I hope that you too will draw inspiration from the great work that the school board, the teachers, the administrators, the support staff in Paramount are doing to engage everybody in the work that is to the benefit of our children. So I think I might have missed a slide on the arts because I think the machine wasn't quite cooperating. But I do want to share that we are big acknowledgement of a well-rounded education in the arts are part of that. We know that we've received some grants from Supervisor Kanabi and a few other agencies. In fact, we're having a current dialogue with the STAR program to see how we can work with the Harmony Project, which is an after-school program that provides instrumental music instruction for our kids. So again, we're going to continue to look for opportunities to provide that well-rounded education that our kids deserve. As I part with you, I want to share with you a video that talks about our continued work to inspire the deep work we want to do with our kids, and again, to thank you for the opportunity to share, because again, as I said earlier, I personally draw a lot of inspiration from the work we do with the children, and who can not say that we're doing good work and investing our time wisely. So with that, thank you very much, and let's see if this video cooperates.
My name is Jocelyn Pinto.
My name is Savannah Griffith.
Smiles. My name is Natalie Tinoco.
My name is Emily. My name is Giselle.
My name is Sebastian.
My name is Isabella. Inspire me.
Hi, I'm Marisela, and I hope to become a great artist someday. And what inspires me are movies such as Rio, Monster University, and I hope with good education I could get into a great college, and I hope I could work for Disney and or Pixar. And I'm a Panther.
Hi, I'm Rosa, class of 81. Hi, I'm Esther, class of 82. Hi, I'm Yolanda, class of 83. Hi, I'm Sandra, class of 88. I'm inspired. I'm ordering all the materials and the books for the students throughout the year. I have been inspired by over the 200 student workers that I have had help me through the year. I'm inspired by all the new 6th grade students coming to Paramount Park School on their journey on graduation. I'm inspired by seeing the Buena Vista graduates debating with me. Once a pirate, always a pirate.
Science inspires me.
Books inspire me.
My family inspires me.
My education inspires me.
Music inspires me.
Hello, I'm
I'm Dr. Aguilar Nuno, the new assistant principal at Buena Vista High School. As an educational leader, I'm inspired by our students' motivation and determination to do their best every day. This has inspired me to be a lifelong learner, pursuing a doctorate degree in education. Last year I graduated from USC, and I'm proud to be a Paramount Pirate class of 1990.
My name is Sebastian, and I am inspired by a few teachers such as Mr. Lee, Mr. Healy, and Mr. McCarthy, who inspired me by showing me that if I put my mind behind something, I know I could do it. And also Coach Bignami, who taught me a lot on and off the field, showing me that if I put my mind behind something, I could do it and to never give up. And after college, I'm planning to be something with sports, such as sports medicine, and study that.
Inspire me to become a mathematician.
Inspire me to be a teacher.
Inspire me to be a police officer.
Inspire me to be an FBI.
Ms. McGoffin, as well as my parents, inspire me to become an engineer.
Inspire me to become a nurse.
Inspire me to work in the immigration.
Hi, I'm Monica, and I go to Roosevelt School. I'm a Rough Rider, and what really inspires me is my principal, Ms. Morelli, and I also get inspired by my second grade teacher, Ms. Rodriguez. She always tells me never give up and always try your best and do things again. Even if you fail, do them again and again. And also, what also inspired me was I did something called Breakfast Club, and I helped some students, and it helped me more better with my math skills. And when I grow up, I would like to be a doctor or a nurse.
I am a panther. I am Paramount.
I'm a jaguar.
I am a wizard. I am Paramount. I am a Paramount Park Panther.
I am a pirate. I am Paramount.
I was a pirate and now I'm an anteater. Once a pirate, always a pirate.
So moving on, our next presenter will be actually our Honorable Mayor, Jean Daniels, followed by our City Manager, Linda Benedetti-Leal. So Mayor Daniels. How are you, sir?
Fine, fine. How are you? What a tough act to follow. I'm sure we all got inspired. I got inspired by the kids there, and I think if we haven't yet been inspired to do something with the rest of our life, that should motivate us. Thank you for being here today. It means a lot to have a real interest in what's happening in the city of Paramount. Our city manager, Linda Benedetti-Leal, will give you a full picture of the state of our city in just a few minutes. But let me just say briefly that Paramount is a very well-run city. We focus on doing everything we can to make this a great community, and environmentally, and for the residents to create a positive atmosphere for our businesses. With our residents, that means maintaining a civic improvement project and qualified for life programs. For our businesses, that means working with you smoothly, keeping communications open and continuing our business-friendly ways. It's great to see everybody today, and I want to thank you for your strong support of both the City Chamber and the City of Paramount. It really means a lot to tell you that the way Paramount is functioning today is the result of you folks. The schools, the church groups, the faith groups, the city, and the business community working together. As you know, reason why a lot of things you do not succeed because egos get involved. And believe me, here in Paramount, there's no such thing as egos. That's the reason why things get done. Our staff and our colleagues, our city council members, there's no such thing as egos. It gets, when something is good to be done, we don't care who gets credit as long as it gets done. So that's one of the reasons I want to thank all of you for participating in the success of City of Paramount. Now please help me welcome you to one of the best city managers in our region. Linda Benedetti-Leal.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you very, very much. And it's always a pleasure for me to be here to share with you what's going on in the city. I'm turning on my light here. Speaking of inspiration, this year was a tough flu season for us at the city. We had a lot of folks out. And I missed my flu shot, so I got sick, which was unusual. And I don't really watch much TV, but I was home and I was kind of down, so I couldn't do too much. So I was inspired by my time home sick for this State of the City theme. I didn't really know there were programs like this, but this is where we're going today. Actually, the Wheel of Fortune, I thought, is kind of an appropriate way to look at what's been going on in state and local government over the last few years. There's really been a lot of luck involved and some randomness. Now, the state budget does seem to be moving in the right direction, and they are predicting a surplus. But sadly, of that surplus, this is what local government will be getting. So for the remainder of this presentation, I will not be buying any valves because we have no money to buy any valves. The state took it all. So we're just going to have to muddle through with consonants. Now, I have a little extra time to speak this year, so I thought I'd start by sharing with you some basic facts about our community that you may not know. Many of you in the room, of course, have businesses here, and you are very invested in the business climate, but you might not know what we look like on the weekends. You know, who is Paramount really? So for starters, our population currently stands at about 54,600 people. The largest group, ethnic group, is 80% Hispanic. We're a very young community. A full 60% of our residents are under 34. That's amazing. And another large chunk, 26%, is under 54. Now, this is a very telling statistic for us, and it helps us decide where we're going to gear our programs and resources. And we do a lot of things for young people and young families, especially in the areas of both education and recreation. Now, our average household size is 4 persons, and our median household income is just above $44,000. Now, as of the last census, 56% of our folks reported finishing high school. So you can see we have a significant number of people who do not have a high school diploma, and only 8% have a bachelor's degree or more. We have more renters than we have homeowners, but we do have more single-family dwellings than multifamily. Now, we're considered a jobs-rich community. Now, this is as opposed to a typical bedroom community. And of course, it has a lot to do with our history as an industrial city. We have about 17,300 jobs in town, the majority of which are in manufacturing. And that's followed by retail and professional jobs. And a lot of our residents actually work in town as well. We recently did a study, and it showed that next to Los Angeles, Paramount is actually the second highest workplace destination for our residents, followed by Long Beach. So I'd like to thank all of you in this room who keep our community employed, because I do know a lot of our local people work in town. You know, I think the overall picture that the statistics paint of Paramount is that of an industrious community, working class community with a tremendous potential for growth and for improvement in its young population. And I know many of you have been involved in our efforts to assist this up-and-coming generation, especially in the areas of education, and have contributed generously to our after-school programs and our scholarship program through the Paramount Education Partnership, or PEP. If you are not currently involved in PEP, I would strongly encourage you to try to join in. It's probably the best investment you could make in our community and in your business's future. And there's someone I'd like to just introduce briefly right now, Sulema Rosales. I'm just going to have Sulema stand up. She's in the back of the room. Sulema is the coordinator for our PEP program. She's here today with a stack of business cards. And before you leave today, I would really encourage you to chat with Sulema, and she can tell you how you can get involved in PEP. Now, as many of you know, back in 2012, we lost redevelopment as a tool for economic growth in the city. And unwinding the former redevelopment agency has been a very long process, and it's not yet complete. We're working with the Department of Finance up at the state, and I can only say that this experience has been beyond frustrating. In any case, we still do own a couple of prominent pieces of real estate in town, notably the corner of Alondra and Paramount. Also, we still own Alondra and Downey, as well as the Clearwater building. And I can only report that the fate of these parcels really is not yet known, and it's going to depend in part on decisions made above our heads up in Sacramento. We're hoping for a good outcome, but things are still a little uncertain. But even though redevelopment is out of the picture, we were able this year, through the use of some federal housing funds, to assist in the development of a really nice, affordable senior housing complex on Adams Street, which opened in December. There are 32 units for people 55 years of age or older. They filled up very quickly, and we were really glad to see this housing option become available for residents this sector of our population. Now, of course, as we do every year, we kept up our long tradition of steady improvements and maintenance throughout the city. Here at our most frequently used facility, Progress Plaza, we recarpeted the room that you're in, and we reupholstered all the chairs. We completely remodeled all the restrooms, and we recently put new pavers in the large courtyard outside. The last part of this project, which is currently in design, is a new perimeter fence and gate. Now, this fence will be a green fence, so it's going to be made out of a hedge, and there will be a growth period before the look is complete, but it should be real nice and lovely and lush in about a year or so. We continued a multi-year repaving of Alondra Boulevard, and we made it as far as Paramount Boulevard. This will be ongoing for the near future till we reach the west end of town. And we also did something rather delicate under the bridges along the LA River. Now, this isn't actually within our jurisdiction. It's Los Angeles County, but it is our border, and it was affecting us. We discovered a homeless encampment under the bridges in the county flood control channel, which of course in itself is a very unsafe situation. And unfortunately, we were also finding stolen property, drug paraphernalia, abandoned animals, and so we knew we needed to do something. Now, the Sheriff's Department was very helpful with this, and they coordinated with the County Health Department, who did an outreach to the people there, offering them both mental health and social service resources. The county gave plenty of notice that there would be a cleanup, and eventually they did come in and handle that. Now, regarding public safety in general, that's our captain right there. This continues to be the area where we spend the largest chunk of our budget, about 34 cents of every dollar that we bring in. Now, in 2013, crimes against persons such as assault and robbery were down once again by 9%. Property crimes are still at historic lows, but we did see an uptick of 6% over last year in property thefts, largely due to an increase in auto thefts. Now, we're always looking for ways to impact crime, and we were recently introduced to a new technology that arose out of a research project with UCLA and the LAPD, and this seems to have some promise. It's a computer-based crime analysis program called predictive policing, and it uses real-time crime data and an algorithm to make predictions about where crime is most likely to occur in the upcoming 10 hours. So officers can use these predictions on a shift-by-shift basis and direct their free patrol time to the indicated areas. The results of this experiment have really been pretty promising, and it's now being deployed in Los Angeles and in Alhambra and in some cities in England, and it's something we're currently studying. And last year, as Herman mentioned, in light of the far too many shootings that have taken place at schools around the nation, our public safety team partnered with Paramount Unified School District, and we held an active shooter exercise at the high school. Now, this is a simulated but a very real feeling exercise, and it provided everyone with hands-on training on how to deal with something like this were to it occur at a school in town. We also support a very active neighborhood watch program, and last year we held 29 meetings in different areas around the city involving over 1,000 participants. And besides Neighborhood Watch, another way in which our residents helped out last year was through our Pitch and Paramount program. 359 volunteers helped out over a period of Saturdays to do things like paint out graffiti along the railroad right-of-way, paint bridge railings over the 710 freeway, do some landscaping along our new bike path, and clean up some homes for elderly or disabled folks. Now, this is where having a young population really comes in handy, because I imagine it would be really hard to do something like this at Leisure World. So, as you know, over the past years, we've made a strong commitment to encouraging health and fitness. We opened our new bike path along the MTA right-of-way from Lakewood to Downey. We continued adding to our network of outdoor gymnasiums. We added exercise equipment here at Progress Park, and we also got a grant from Supervisor Don Kanabe, which this year will allow us to put equipment at Paramount Park and at All-American Park as well. Now, of course, the crown jewel project of last year was the opening of Salud Park in April. Now, this 9-acre fitness-oriented park features a quarter-mile running track, an outdoor gym, and a sand volleyball court, and it has been a huge success. There's always lines of people waiting to get in the morning, and we've had to extend our operating hours till 9 p.m. We had a wonderful kickoff, and again, I'd like to thank Southern California Edison for partnering with us and helping us get the land for this project. I know David Ford's in the audience. It only took 8 years to work with Edison. So I was telling you have to use staff that doesn't have attention deficit disorder when you're working with Edison. So, but we really appreciated David after all it got done. And there's no reason in town now for anyone not to be fit and in shape, and you can do it for free. With regard to economic fitness, despite major challenges, we are doing okay. We broke even last fiscal year after some significant downsizing and trimming a few years back. As a barometer, you can see that back in 1984, our population was 39,500 people, and we had 94 full-time employees. Currently, our population is 54,400, and we have 92 full-time employees, down from a high of 121. Now, we filled in with some outside contracting, and we're hiring more part-time employees, but we still have to manage all of that. And I know there's a stereotype out there of the lazy government employee, the 3 guys leaning on a shovel, but I can guarantee you that the people on our payroll are all working very hard, and they're judging far more tasks than they were just 3 years ago. And as a manager, I've been truly, truly blessed to have such a fantastic group of people working with me. And I would like everyone on my staff at this moment, if you could just stand up and be acknowledged for what you've really pulled out this last 3 years. They've really, really been amazing. Now, as the economy begins to perk up, albeit very sluggishly, we took a hard look at our revenue situation, trying to identify opportunities for augmenting our treasury. Now, as many of you know, the biggest source of income for a city is sales tax revenue. So we hired a firm to do a retail analysis for Paramount, and we learned some interesting things. Firstly, we found that the city's retail vacancy rate is actually below the mid-city market and the county average. Our retail sales per capita, when you compare us to neighboring cities, is about average, and that's pretty surprising considering some of our neighbors have malls and large shopping centers. We perform well in certain areas such as grocery, service stations, and building materials. But there is leakage, and that means that people are shopping elsewhere for certain key things. These included restaurants, pet stores, sporting goods, and apparel. So if any of you want to open any of these kinds of stores, it looks like it's a wide open field, and we'd be happy to work with you on that. We also learned an interesting thing, that in Paramount, retail sales are higher than the retail spending potential of our households. Now, this means that not only are residents spending their money in town, which we've been heavily promoting, but we're also capturing retail spending from outsiders. So this is good news for us and for you as well, especially if you are in retail. Now, I'd like to mention one effort that the city of Paramount spearheaded for the larger region in terms of job growth. The Southeast Los Angeles County area has higher unemployment than the rest of LA County. It's higher than California, and it's higher than the national average. It seems that this area has really never rebounded from the loss of the aerospace industry. And on top of that, state officials are seeming to embrace a vision of California's future that may not speak to the strengths of our region or to the available workforce here. Now, Paramount is a member of a larger group of cities, 28 cities, called the Gateway Cities Council of Governments, and that's, we call it the COG, and it's headquartered here in Paramount. The COG has 3 major missions, and one of which is regional economic development. In December, we initiated and we hosted the first meeting of a group of local manufacturers from Paramount, Southgate, and Santa Fe Springs to talk about the state of manufacturing today and to gauge interest in forming a grassroots effort to assist manufacturers and even down the road maybe create a political voice for our region in Sacramento. Now, some of you participated in the first meeting of this group, and I really appreciate that. I'm happy to report that the COG is continuing with this effort, and we're really hoping something constructive will come out of it that will result in real job growth for all of our residents. Now, locally, we are expecting a couple of interesting new ventures to roll out soon. As many of you know, the Paramount Swap Meet was once a drive-in theater, and it's betting on a big comeback, and it's planning to reopen later this year. Darren Kurkowski told a really interesting story about how hard it was to find engineers to build the big screens because they've been out of circulation for so long no one knew how to do it. But it's all on track now, so you should be able to pile the kids in the car and grab a flick at the drive-in this spring. And another interesting project involves the Paramount Petroleum Refinery and a new green technology company called Alt Air, and they plan to refine diesel fuel not from crude oil, but from cow fat or tallow. And there's a sort of poetic symmetry here since Paramount used to be a big dairy town, and it's not quite the same situation for the cows as it was back then. But they are returning in an altered form in some way. It's hard to believe that there's that much cow fat out there to make gasoline, but I guess there it is. A few comments about water. I tend to talk about water quite a bit because of its critical importance in Southern California. And I've stressed over the years how we're making improvements and we're expanding our water infrastructure for the simple reason, and I've shown this chart here before, that the cost of having to buy water from another provider are much, much higher than the cost of pumping the water ourselves from our own wells. So we added a new well to our system about 2 years ago, and this allowed us to increase our pumping capacity to about 78% of our daily demand. We were pumping about 60% before, and we're already seeing savings from this change. Now, we have plans to add another well at the corner of Jackson and Garfield, and this will be a joint project with the City of Long Beach. It's been delayed because of the redevelopment dissolution, but we anticipate we'll be able to sink the well, hopefully, in the next year or two. Now, recently, there was a significant court ruling that affects us in a positive way. In the LA Basin, anyone who owns water rights can pump out an allotment of water every year. In the past, however, if you did not pump out all your water in any given year, you were not allowed to store it for later use. So it was a use it or lose it system. A number of cities went to court seeking a change to that arrangement, and they were successful. So in the future, if we don't pump all of our water in 1 year, we can store it in the basin and pump it later on when we actually need it. And this provides, of course, much greater flexibility in using our own water, which is really important, especially in drought times like we're in now. And it makes us less reliant on expensive imported water. And I'd like to mention also a nomination that we were honored to receive last year. The Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation holds an annual competition called the Eddy Awards for cities that are deemed to be the most business-friendly in the region. Now, we submitted an application, and we were chosen as a finalist for the Eddy, along with the cities of Glendora, Lancaster, Santa Monica, and Pico Rivera. Now, the award ceremony itself is something of a gala event up in Beverly Hills, and each nominated city presented a 2-minute video showcasing themselves. And Lancaster came away with the Eddy Award, but I sat through all the videos, and I can guarantee you we had the best video. So in closing, I'd like to share the video with you. It's very short. I hope you like it, and I hope you learn something about our city that maybe you never knew before.
With a long tradition of manufacturing, Paramount is a place where things, including history, get made. Supplier of O-rings for NASA's Space Shuttle program, Carlton Forge has been a fixture for over 80 years. Weber Metals is a key supplier for Boeing's dynamic new Dreamliner long-range aircraft. Paramount companies navigate time as well as space. Marukan Vinegar opened shop in 1649 in Japan. They've made their American home in Paramount since 1974. In the 1920s, an Italian family settled here, and they're still in town, though with a higher, let's say, iconic profile. Prefer water to ice? Then your Malibu kayak was built in Paramount. Paramount was once a dairy capital. Today, the cows are coming home in a surprising way. The Alt-Air Company's bold experiment will create diesel fuel for jets and trucks from beef tallow. If you want a pair of cowboy boots, Garfield Avenue has become the boot distribution capital of Southern California. And if you walk into a Ralph's, your groceries were probably stocked by a robot from Paramount. Business leaders have formed the Paramount Education Partnership, which sponsors 2 learning centers and has raised more than $500,000 for college scholarships. Paramount might be a tiny dot on the map, but the city and its business partners have made an impressive impact felt far and wide.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow, how do you beat the flying cow? Not sure if I can. Anyways, as we close our State of the City address today, I'd like to take a minute to actually thank our sponsors today, which is Paramount Petroleum. If I can get a round of applause for them. And also, I'd like to give applause to all our presenters today. Thank you for giving us all this great information about what's going on in our city. A couple of reminders. I just wanted to share with you all that the Chamber will be hosting a job fair on March 15th. Our annual golf classic will also be taking place on April 14th at the beautiful Friendly Hills Country Club in Whittier. And we'll also be hosting actually the Paramount Chamber's first annual poker tournament in July 18th. This is a new fundraiser. How many of you guys play poker out there? And actually we have sponsorship opportunities for this event. So if you're interested, please see Peggy and she'll give you all the details. So again, as we close out our State of the City address, thank you for all coming. It's now time to give out our centerpieces. So in honor of our centerpieces sponsor, the gas company, if your birthday is closest to Krista's, our rep from the gas company, you can take home the centerpiece. The date is July 15th. So anyone who's close to July 15th, you're welcome to take the centerpiece. Thank you for coming, everyone, and we'll see you next year.